Hello guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're going through my round 18 AFL tips for this week. So if you are going to enjoy today's video, please do hit the like and subscribe button, and yeah, let's get straight into the tips and the reviews. Last week we started off at the G on the Friday night with Collingwood taking on Essendon. A real 50-50 game this one was. Collingwood ended up losing this one by 12. I should say the Bombers ended up winning this one by 12. Credit to the Bombers. They were just the better team, in that first quarter. Collingwood, I think after Essendon kicked the first goal, really got a hold of them. But Essendon just fought back and then pretty much took control from that third quarter onwards. So, yeah, credit to them there. I went with the Suns by one again, another 50-50 game. I was really happy to see that North won this game. I was watching this game. Really good one to watch. It's just... So, yeah, I feel pretty happy for North. They definitely deserve their wings. They have been playing some pretty good footy lately. But Gold Coast, they were just disappointing. They still haven't got a win away from home. Damien Hardwick was pretty disappointing in the press conferences. So, I got that one wrong there. But I do get the correct scoreline for that, which does help a bit. Went with the Power by 10. They actually won this one by 48. I wasn't watching this. I was watching the North and Suns game. But from the highlights, I just thought they were probably the better team. And, they pretty much dominated the Bulldogs. Two teams, coaches that are under pressure. And I think Ken wins that one. I think the Power probably just more reliable. So I'm really happy I got the job done there, as well as the Power. Happy I backed them in, but just not by enough. So yeah, credit to the Power. A bit disappointing for the Bulldogs, considering that they are trying to push for that top 8. Went with the Hawks with an upset by 6. The Cats, well, they pretty much dominated the Hawks from the word go. I don't know if Hawthorn were just tired or they were just playing at GMHBA, but yeah, this one was probably the biggest margin, I think, of the round. So yeah, Geelong ended up winning that one. Went with the Blues by 13. I could see the Giants possibly winning this, but I just thought that they probably were the better team coming into it. The Giants actually won in a very high-scoring game. This game was a pretty good one to watch. Credit to the Giants. They respond really, really well, and it looks like they've got their scoring act together. And disappointing for Carlton there. Went with Freo by 47. This is probably my best tip of the round. They actually won by 51. Sort of the scoreline what I was expecting. Not the most high-scoringest game. It wasn't really that high-scoring, but yeah, because it was a bit wet. So yeah, but the Dockers, they're moving it on nicely, trying to make that top 4. Went with the D's by 31. They actually won by 54. Now, I do just have new news that Adam Simpson has departed ways with the Eagles, or the Eagles have departed ways with Adam Simpson, which is sorry to hear. He's a great guy, but yeah, Melbourne won that by 54. I've just got that new news. So the Eagles, backup coach will take control now. Went with the Swans by 33. My Saints got the upset victory, which I'm very happy about. It was a really, really good game to watch. And for once, we're the team that comes back on Sydney. Usually, the Sydney always come back on teams, but we got it done. I'm so thrilled. I was definitely not expecting that. Even Cardi tipped the St Kilda, so yeah, credit to him. He's got that tip right. No one saw that coming, really, but I'm thrilled. And the Swans, they've got some big issues right now. That was a pretty disappointing loss for them. Went with the Lions by 20. They actually won by 11. Got the correct scoreline for a result. Isaac Rankin is gone for 4 weeks now, which does help my Saints next week against the Crows. So let's get into the tips for round 18. And we start off on Friday night with the Pies and the Cats taking on each other at the G. This is going to be a very good game because the Cats, well, they're starting to find their good bit of form now. They knocked off the Bombers last week, who just bet the Pies at the G, and also they have knocked off the very informed Hawks, although that was at home. It was still a good win. Meanwhile, the Pies, they're out of form a little bit. They lost to Essendon by 12, then had that 11-point loss to the Suns. So they actually are starting to lose quite a few close games, which I sort of probably was maybe going to expect. This should be a good game nonetheless. This is going to be a really hard one to tip. I'm going to back in the Pies to get it done. I feel like if they want... I'm going to say this now, I actually don't feel like the Pies will make top 4 because they're 8 and 6. They do have the 2 draws that does help, but again, that's like 4 points over 2 rounds. Which sort of doesn't help them. I think they can still make the top 8. I think they will, but they need to win this game if they want to be a chance at top 4, because that top 4 is starting to narrow out a bit. You've got the likes of Fremantle, maybe even Brisbane trying to push into there. Let's go with the Pies by 14. It should be a pretty good game at the G, but I think Collingwood just have that little bit more edge. But yeah, this is going to be a hard game to predict, and certainly should be a good one. Then at People First Stadium or Heritage Bank Stadium or Metricon Stadium, which is my favourite name, we have the Suns taking on the Power. Now, the Power have a very good record against the Suns. I believe they've won their last, 9. I think it might be their last 11, actually. I'm not too sure. I remember the Suns actually won their first game against Port Adelaide. That was actually their first ever win, and then they've lost the next 11, which is really funny, I find, to be honest. They've only ever won a game against the Power, and the Suns, well, they're playing some disappointing footy away from home. They still can't get a win there. 0-8, the coach is fed up with them. So yeah, this is gonna be tough because it's at home for Gold Coast. I think they'll respond. I'm going to go with the Suns to get the victory here. I know the Power have a very good record against the Suns, but I feel like if the Suns, they want to be legit top 8 contenders and yeah, if they lose to North, they're probably not top 8 contenders, but if they want to try and make the top 8, they need to win this game. Otherwise, they're just going to start falling away again. Let's go the Suns by 7 in a close game. Should be a pretty good one. These two sides usually play in pretty close games. So, yeah. Next up at UTAS Stadium, we have the Hawks taking on the Dockers. Now, this one is at UTAS, so this could definitely favour the Hawks. I don't think they have lost a game there this year. I think they've played there 3 or 4 times and they've won all of them. Whereas Fremantle, on the other hand, they're in some really good form. Had a nice cruisy win over Richmond, which you can't really take much out of, considering that, they are top 4 side, so you can't really take much out of that. So yeah, this should be a good game. I don't know. I think I'm going to go with the Dockers to get a victory here. It's going to be tough up in Launceston, but I feel like this is where the Hawks, they may start falling away. We see it where they have a really good month of footy. Well, they've been playing 2 good months of footy, the Hawks. So this is tough, but I think I'm going to back in Fremantle to get the job done. Let's go Freo by 13 points. Actually, no, we'll go a bit more. We need to start expanding these margins. Let's go Freo to get a nice victory by 23 points at UTAS to get a nice victory there. Then at the G, we have Melbourne and the Bombers taking on each other. On the Saturday night, I won't be watching this game because I'll be watching the Saints taking on the Crows. Obviously, but this should be, I think that Essendon are probably the better side coming into this. They're in some okay form. They did just knock off the Pies, who aren't in the best of form, but it's okay. The D's had a very, I wouldn't say impressive, but sort of, a very good win that can boost a bit of confidence and percentages. They gained, I think, 5% from that, which was good considering that their percentage was under 100 before they coming into this round. So if they do want to make the top 8, that percentage will help them. So they gained a bit of faith and percentage there by margin. I think you just got to go with the Bombers here. I know that the D's are playing some good footy against the Eagles, but I think that Essendon want to make a point to prove, and if they want to make the top 4, I think if they win this game, I'm generally sold on them making the top 4. They'll be 11-5 with that draw, which will just help them even more. I'm going with the Bombers to get a win here at the G by 18 points, and gutsy affair, but the Bombers, they'll get the job done. Then at the G, I believe this, I don't know if this is really the next game, because I think Super Brews mucked up all the games again. I'm pretty sure Saints and Crows is next, because that's on the Saturday night, but whatever. We have the Tigers taking on the Giants at the G. Obviously this wouldn't be on the Saturday night because we've already got Melbourne and Essendon, so it has to be on the Sunday, I would imagine. I'm pretty sure that is correct. It is on the Sunday. But yeah, the Giants had a very good win over the Blues because they were out of form, and just to get a win like that gives them a bit more confidence in the long-term run. Whereas the Tigers, well, they're playing some competitive footy, we'll say that. They were pretty disappointing against Fremantle. They probably could have made it a bit closer. They were a bit inaccurate, so the margin could have been cut down a little bit. But in saying this, I know it's at the G and there could be possibly a potential upset here, but I think the Giants should just be too strong I'm not overly convinced they're going to win by much, to be honest. Let's go with the Giants to win by 6. We'll go with the Giants by 16 points at the G to get a victory. Just cruisy victory. So, yeah, we'll go with the Giants by 16 there. Then at the SCG, I believe this is Saturday at 11:45 my time, which is Saturday 1:45 for most people, obviously Melbourne time. We have Sydney taking on North Melbourne. Now, the Swans, you'd think this should be an easy win for them, but, the way that teams have... I don't know if teams have figured them out, but certainly looking like teams have actually, learned to shut Sydney down. Like the Saints, they looked really competitive. They looked like they really knew what they were doing when they got onto Sydney. Same with Fremantle, to be honest. And yeah, it wasn't their poor start that really let them down. It was just... They actually had a nice lead in the third quarter, I'm pretty sure, until it got cut back. So they need to work out that there. But North, they're playing some pretty good footy that is actually watchable. They've won 2 and they leave the Tigers at the bottom of the ladder now. I think you just got to go off Sydney, though. It should be a pretty sound victory, shouldn't it? I don't think it's going to be by much. I think that... Let's go Sydney by 32. I think that North will make it competitive, but that it's at the SCG. You just got to back in Sydney. This would be literally... we've had so many upsets of this year, but surely this would have to be upset of the year if the Swans want to... if North want to get a win here. I feel like if Swans lose this game, they may not even make the top... they may not even finish first with Carlton in there, but we'll see how that goes. Sydney by 32. Then at Marvel, we have the Dogs taking on the Blues. Now, the Dogs, they're playing some okay footy at the moment. They had a disappointing loss to Port Adelaide, who were in a bit of out of form. Let's be honest, they didn't have the best win over the Saints, the Power. So, yeah, disappointing from the Bulldogs. I know they did go up to Adelaide, but that's not a long trip. The Blues, on the other hand, they've won 5 in a row. They probably do need a little bit of a break. They still scored highly, but yeah, they really just fell asleep in that third quarter. But they were still able to score, as always. I'm pretty sure they are the second highest scoring side as of ranked. I'm sensing an upset here at Marvel Stadium. The Bulldogs generally have a good record against Carlton. They've won their last 3 against the Blues, and they've won out of their last 15. They've won 11 out of their last 15. So I'm going to back in the Dogs. I think that they're that side that can really make finals this year. And I'll go with the Dogs to win by 5 points in a very good game. Actually, no, we'll go by 15 in a very nice game. Then here we are, my Saints taking on the Crows at the Adelaide Oval. Now the Crows, they put up a pretty good fight against Brisbane at the Gabba. Considering Brisbane's form, it was nice to see them put up a bit of a fight, whereas my Saints, well, I still can't get over that win against Sydney. I still don't know how we actually beat the Swans, but we did, which I am thrilled about. This should be a good game, I think. I think that these are two sides that, if one of them wins, I think will finish higher than the other. It's the bottom 4 clash. Who finishes in the bottom 4? I'm going to back in the Saints. I'm going to back in my Saints, okay? I have no reason really not to, because Isaac Rankin is going to be out, which will help our strong backline already. So I'm going to go with the Saints to get a win by 17. I'm pretty confident coming in. I know Adelaide at home are a much different side, but I'm confident. So I'm going to back in the Saints. I know we got thrashed there last time on the Mother's Day clash, but I got off the Saints by 17. Then at Optus Stadium, we have the Eagles taking on the Lions. Now, obviously, Adam Simpson, the news has broken out that he is departing ways. So it's going to be interesting to see if the Eagles can put up a good fight against Brisbane. Because usually when a new coach comes in, obviously, their side plays very competitive or even gets the win. We've seen it in past times with, like, North Melbourne. And, we've seen it with quite a few coaches. But the Lions, you just can't go past them. And I feel like you just got to back them in here. If this was at the Gabba, this could probably be a bloodbath, like an 80-pointer. I still think Brisbane are actually going to thrash West Coast. So I'm going to go with a 63-point win. I know it's a big margin, but I generally think the Lions, they want to gain a bit of percentage. They've already got a very good percentage with that win over Richmond. And, I think they'll get the job done by about 10 goals. There are my picks for this week, everyone. If you did enjoy this video, please do hit the like and subscribe button. And, we'll see you in the next video.